they're camped in front of Mount Sinai, and God tells Moses to tell the people to obey him because they're his special ones and he loves them so, so much. And they're like, okay, we'll obey you. God says he'll appear in a few days. So they know that Moses really does speak for him. So he's going to appear as like a cloud to talk to Moses. And then Moses tells them, don't touch the mountain, take a bath, and don't have sex for 3 days. And then God appears as a cloud and fire and makes the mountain tremble. And then Moses goes up to the top of the mountain. God, I guess, shows up in some sort of corporeal form is what is implied, and tells Moses to bring Aaron up, but no one else.
Okay, so the very beginning of this, I've never had this thought before, even after I'd read the book. And in chapter 19, verse 4, it says, you yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. What does that make you think of?
The Eagles in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
We know that Tolkien was, there's a lot of religious allegory. So, but interesting.
Yep, I never made that connection before. I'm sure other people have, so it's probably not that huge of a revelation. But just the fact that, he has this idea, and I think it's probably the best.
I like Gandalf better than Moses, though.
Yeah, I gotta say, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, you can't convince me that a staff it's just a giant magic wand. And not that kind of magic wand, girls.
Or men who are also... Oh, and, neither, who are interested in penises.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, a staff is just a wizard staff. Just a giant magic wand.
Staffs are used in wizard lore, like, more than magic wands. Magic wands are more recent. Staffs were the bigger thing.
Yeah.
So...
They are literally the bigger thing. Okay. So that immediately I just thought of The Hobbit. Oh, and I may have spoiled the ending for you if you haven't read The Hobbit. It's The Hobbit, right? No, you're right. I'm sorry. The Lord of the Rings. Yeah, my bad.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Somebody didn't watch the extended editions of Lord of the Rings several times a year in their teenage years.
And it shows.
So God, I think it's funny that God shows up, covers the entire mountain with smoke and fire, and it billows up and stuff. And then there's like a loud trumpet.
Okay. But imagine this. Like, think about your knowledge and think about smoke, fire, trembling. What does that imply?
On a mountain?
On a mountain?
Could it be volcano?
Ding, 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 ding. Man, you just passed basic 7th grade geography. Yeah, and a lot of people don't make that connection here, but it looks like, number one, Mount Sinai, the Mount Sinai that we have nowadays is apparently not a volcano. So there's some speculation, though, that if you go a little bit further to the east, that there are some volcanoes in the Arabian Peninsula.
Interesting.
Yes. And so there's some thoughts that, it's obvious. This is a fucking volcano.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a pillar of clouds,
or at least an earthquake, because earthquakes can, cause all sorts of massive things to happen, right?
Earthquakes, but there's also the idea that when there's pillar of smoke going up,
a pillar, you're right.
It can cause there to be some weird atmospheric stuff going on. So there could be lightning going on in there. So people could have thought there was a god going in there. There's trembling. They weren't allowed to touch the mountain. Think about what's coming down from the mountain.
Lava! The floor is lava.
Yeah, so they're worshiping a volcano, and there's several scholars out there. In fact, I even looked up a Jewish virtual library, I think, where one of the rabbis on there is talking about this. Yahwehism is rooted in some volcano worship.
I want to go watch Moana now.
See the sky where the sea.
All right,
Disney, please don't sue us.
Yeah. Chapter 20 is finally the 10 Commandments. So we're going to go through those one by one. But after the 10 Commandments, he then says, don't make idols out of silver and gold to represent any gods. And then also make a natural earthly, altars to me. Wherever I cause my name to be honored, I will come to you and bless you, is what he says. So let's go. You shall have no other gods before me.
Again, alluding to the fact there are other gods.
Yes. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. I mean, at least he admits he's jealous.
Yeah, and at least he admits that he's not a very good quote-unquote father or creator. Like, wouldn't you just be like, you know what, I'm just happy you're out there living your life. Go live your best life, and I'm not going to hate you.
And he's not really showing love. I mean, he does leave them in the desert for 40 years.
Yeah. Okay, so next one.
Next one. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. This is where, like, you know, the, like, don't say God damn it, or oh my God, or whatever from people come from. But is that really what's meant? Is it really meant about using the Lord's name in, like, cursing? Or is it don't call me by the wrong name?
That's not my name.
That's not my name.
They call me Ishmael. No, I think this harkens back, and this is just my own feeling of it again, is that they believed that if you said a person's name or an entity's name, that you were calling it, that you were invoking it, and
it's power in names. I mean, that's like it. That is a cross-cultural belief, right? The power in naming something.
Yeah,
so.
don't use it willy-nilly. And just like we watched a movie last night where there was a culture in Africa that doesn't speak the name of the dead, and we sort of do the same thing, right? We avoid saying names of people who've died, but
we do.
I think it's I don't know.
Kind of there's other cultures that do that. You don't speak the name of the dead, but
yeah. So you're like, you just don't want to call into being someone that has power unless you mean to call them.
All right, next commandment. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall do labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. And then he just continues about the Sabbath for a couple verses. Take a day off, people. It's in the Bible. It's, you know, don't overwork yourself.
Yeah, but if we were to go by what the Bible says, we would only have 1 day off. So fuck that shit. We should have only a 4-day work week.
Honor your father and mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you.
Okay, I think you and I can both agree that you're lucky you have a great mom. My mom, don't even really know her. My dad, don't fucking know him. Like,
I had the world's shittiest dad.
Yeah, so fuck my parents.
Fuck my father, who is dead.
So, just the sort of stuff, like, right off the bat, you should just wholesale give them respect without even questioning it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so. and then it's, you know, honor your father and mother. What does he mean by honor? I mean, is it just take care of them as they get older? I mean, fair enough. You know, I don't know.
We're already seeing the fact that there's no gray. There's always black and white with Yahweh, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Well, if your parents do it, it must be fine, right? Like, you know, because they're your parents.
Yeah.
So, all right, you shall not commit murder.
So now I'd like to get into, like, God
commits murder all the time.
All the fucking
time. And then
time.
they, like, I mean, I know we're going to see more battles with other cultures. That is murder. Like, murder happens.
Is murder.
Like, it just, and so, yeah, I don't understand. When do you start justifying what killing someone is, you know?
Yeah, and I'm going to say this ironically, right? But, like, all lives matter, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so even the Amalekites or the Canaanites or whoever, don't their lives matter?
You shall not commit adultery.
Unless it's sanctioned by your wife, or God wants you to go fuck a handmaid so you can have a generation of people.
And you can just take on, if you're a man, you can take on multiple wives and rape slaves and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
No big deal. You shall not steal like you stole from all of the Egyptians.
Yep, you stole from the Egyptians, and what else was stolen? Oh, you stole humanity's innocence too. Fuck you.
And also, like, you're literally gonna go steal land from the Canaanites, like, once you actually show up, right? And think it's rightfully yours.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
And also nowadays, I'm gonna hit some real strong chords here with the Israelite, the Hebrew nation. Stealing land nowadays. From people who were occupying their...
And had been there for a really long time.
Yep.
And it's like, 1948, let's this is ours now.
Yep, so...
Okay. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor.
So you can't accuse someone of...
doing something they didn't do. And that's a pretty good thing to, You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor.
Okay.
I don't covet any of our neighbors currently. At all. I feel like, from what I've seen of the inside of their apartments, we have the cuter one because I have great design skills. God and I have that in common. I'm feeling, definitely don't, I think our neighbor wants us to covet his massive truck that he sits in for hours to let it rev for some reason in the parking lot. I don't covet that.
It also goes back to the idea of, like, why would God create a people? They're his chosen people. Why would he have favorites among those people? Why would he then allow other people to have more things than the people that are around them for them to feel that they need to want something else that another neighbor has? If that makes sense. Like, why is he... I'm a communist. Let's just put it out there. I'm more of a socialist, but I mean, really the idea here is, like, why is God allowing people amongst this chosen nation to have more things than their brothers and sisters?
Right. And then, don't make any idols. The people are scared. They don't want to talk to God directly because they're scared and they think they'll die. But, yeah, this is just, and don't go, it also says, this is so funny how it ends. So God is telling Moses about how to make altars. Make an altar of earth for me and sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. If you make an altar of stones for me, do not build it with dressed stones, for you will defile it if you use a tool on it. And then it says, and do not go up to my altar on steps, or your private parts may be exposed. What?
That's funny.
What?
So prudish.
Oh my god. What is that even? Why is that? And that's where chapter 20 ends. The big chapter that includes the 10 commandments ends with, and do not go up to my altar on steps, or your private parts may be exposed.
Okay, leading up to that. Now, it's funny that God apparently didn't invent underwear by this point.
Is it just like there's going to be a breeze and your, like, cloak is going to fly up and, pull a Marilyn?
No, I'm surprised God wasn't like, okay, and now you're going to fashion an undergarment that is triangular in shape with a pocket in the front to allow you to let your snake, quote unquote, come out to
your staff.
Your staff to come out and pee.
Your destroyer.
You shall call it fruit of the loom.
All right, so that is those chapters.
God, it's
so weird. Like, I was always told, like, and God saved his people, which I always had the question is, like, well, wait, so are we not that special since we're Christians and Jews still exist because the Jews are his chosen people? Like, that just never made any sense to me as a kid. Yeah, I don't remember, like, don't have sex for 3 days and take a bath. Your private parts may be exposed. I certainly don't remember God being such a manipulative dick.
Mm-hmm. I just don't know what to say anymore. But, so there's even more evidence to me that this was actually a volcano. So, several references here that... now in chapter 20, verse 18, now when all the people saw the thunder and the flashes of lightning and the sound of the trumpet, I don't know what the fuck a trumpet is, and the mountain smoking, right? The mountain smoking. The people were afraid and trembled, and they stood far off. Okay, again, it's a fucking volcano, people.
Yep. So, go worship a volcano, take a bath. We're not going to tell you that you don't have to have sex for 3 days, so, you do you. And,
walk up all the stairs you want to.
And expose to your private... No, don't do that, because that's illegal.
Yeah, you could get in trouble. But if you're in a nudist colony, naturist.
Or if you're at home, expose your private parts all you want. So, we'll see you next time, guys.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Atheist Couples Devotional. If you enjoyed it, leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe.
You can find us on Facebook at The Atheist Couples Devotional Podcast, or on Instagram at Atheist Couples Devotional.
You can also email us at theatheistcouplesdevotional@gmail.com.
Intro and outro music is Love Life by Purple